if you are from a 50th ranked business school in India, if you apply via traditional recruitment channels that, hey, I will just send my CV and cover letter to McKinsey and it will work out. No, it will not. Very, very low probability. So you need to apply via references or referrals. Hello everyone. So today we are going to delve deeper into the world of management consulting. Now many of you ask me a lot of questions around how we can get a job at BCG, Bain, McKinsey and similar firms. So this entire video is dedicated to discussing that. I will walk you through 4 specific things on this video. 1, I'm going to talk about what specific skills are required by management consultants and how you can go about developing those skills. That's 1. Second, we are going to take a look at the aspect of brand value. So for example, if you are from feeder firms or from feeder colleges, like in India you have colleges like IIMs, right, which are very old and they place a lot of students in consulting. Similarly, ISB, which is again a very renowned program in India, and then there are up and coming programs in India, for example Masters Union Business School. I was reading through their career placement report as well. So there are some upcoming programs, so I will discuss that. Then we will take a look at, if you are from a non-target program, then how you can go about getting a job at NDBs. Finally, we will look at some basics, for example, how you can go about researching about specific offices, how you start your case solving journey, so on and so forth. So with that said, let's get started with this video. Okay, so let's first understand that if you are aiming to apply and get through companies like BCG, Bain, McKinsey, what skills do you need? If you actually type BCG, Bain, McKinsey skills required, you will be directed to their website and you will see them stating a bunch of skills. For example, they'll say that, hey, we require like strong problem solvers, we require people who are great at communication, we require people who have exceptional analytical abilities, so on and so forth. So all these keywords, right, these are very fluff, broad words and these might confuse you, right? So let me illustrate. According to me, there are 3 specific points that you absolutely need, which you must highlight in your cover letter, in your resume, in your interviews. If you don't do it, then you would not get round 1 interview invites, and even if you somehow magically get that round 1 interview invite, you will not make through. So let me jump right in. So first and foremost skill that management consultants require is called as effective communication skills, right? Now if I ask you that what do you mean by effective communication, people will give different definitions. My definition is very simple, that hey, if you say 10 things and if the other person is able to understand 9 things, then it means that your communication skills are good, right? On the flip side, if you say 10 things and the other person is able to understand only 5 things, then it means that your communication skills are bad, right? So that is the simple definition which I would want you to remember and accordingly communicate this throughout. Now why is this important? This is important because management consulting is a client facing business. For example, when I was working with Dalberg, I worked with a principal economist at Asian Development Bank. So I used to interact extensively with him. Our meetings were extremely short. Those used to be 5 minutes, sometimes 10 to 2 minutes meetings also on a phone call. So you had to explain things in a very effective manner in a very quick span of time, right? So you had to make things simple, you had to make things very clear and you had to be to the point, right? So you could not take 10 minutes to explain something that should only be explained in 5 minutes, right? So the first key skill that management consulting firms look for is your ability to communicate clearly in a structured manner, right, that whatever you are saying goes through a certain flow and in a concise manner, right? So these are some key tips around communication that you must remember. There are specific videos that I have done on the channel, so I'll direct you to that in the description box. Do take a look, but this is the first key skill that you must remember. Second point that you must remember is that management consulting firms look for very strong leadership skills. Now if I again ask you that, hey, what do you mean by leadership? Then your definition would be that it means that, for example, I would have led a team of 5 people at work, or I would have led my college club, so on and so forth. Yes, those are leadership as well. But leadership in management consulting context means that you take initiatives. Now this is again very important. So taking initiative could be as simple as that, for example, you are working in your college drama society, right? You are not the president, you are not the vice president, you are just a member, right? Now as a member, have you taken any initiatives? A simple initiative could be that designing a simple app for people to mark their attendance, or it could be a simple app to organize events, or it could be, you know, that you started a website for your drama club, right? So all these are initiatives that you as a member might have taken, right? So leadership, displaying leadership where you have taken some kind of initiatives in whatever you have done. If you're a college student, have you taken initiatives in college? If you're a working professional, have you taken initiatives at work? If you have done these things, then management consulting firms really love you, right? So this is an important point. This actually needs to be highlighted on your resume and cover letter, because unless you display these skills, right, on your CV and cover letter, then you will not get round one interview invite, right? So this is a very important component and point to understand. Third, management consulting firms look for very strong problem solvers. Now again, what is the definition of problem solving? So problem solving essentially means that you are able to solve problems under different contexts. That's one. For example, a simple problem solving would be that, hey, you are performing exceptionally well on your mathematics course, right? So that's an academic problem solving. Similarly, have you solved problems in the real world? Have you done projects? For example, you might have interned with a company during your undergrad, right? Just saying that, hey, McKinsey, I work with this particular company and particular startup, and I was one of the 5 members of my college who got picked. That is not good enough. You're just simply saying that, you know, you got picked. Okay, great. But what problem did you solve at that particular company, and how did that benefit that particular company, and what was your role in that particular project? So these things need to be clarified on your resume and cover letter again, right? So problem solving under different contexts, that academically you have solved problems. From a real world perspective, you have solved problems. You might have presented some research reports, so on and so forth. So showing that problem solving skill again is very, very, very important to become an effective management consultant, because at the end of the day, as a management consultant, you are solving what? You are solving problems, and you are being paid by clients a lot of money. And why are you being paid a lot of money? Because you are solving problems for your clients. So be creative, learn a lot about different areas, aspects, and all this, right? What I'm talking about, how does a management consulting firm test all this, right? They do it via case solving exercise, right? So when you interview with BCG, Bain, McKinsey, you might end up going through 6, sometimes 7 rounds of interviews, and in almost every single round, you will get a case, right? Case means it's a business problem. For example, on your round 1 McKinsey interview, you might get a business case which might look something like this. That, hey, India is going through a coronavirus problem right now. So you as a McKinsey consultant, how would you go about solving this issue, and what are some of the few key recommendations you might share with the Indian government to tackle with this problem, right? So this is a business case in a way, right? So here you need to structure your response, bifurcate it, share your framework. I'll make separate videos on this, so don't worry about that. But for the timing, just understand that during that entire case discussion, that 30-45 minute case discussion, you will be judged on your ability to communicate effectively, your ability to take initiatives in terms of solving certain issues, suggesting certain approaches, and problem solving, how creatively you're solving that problem, right? So I hope this particular skill set is very clear. Now, of course, there are more additional skill sets, right? For example, if you go to McKinsey, they will say that, hey, we need analytical problem solvers. So analytical means that you're good at math, right? And you're good with numbers. So you need to pad that up, right, on your resume. Similarly, different things, but bottom line, what I'm trying to illustrate to you is that it's important to understand these keywords in management consulting context. If you don't understand it, then you will not be able to structure your resume or cover letter or your interview or bring those skills on the case solving testing. Now, great. Now you have basic skills, right? You might have worked very hard. You might have spent months and probably a year working on improving all these different aspects. But if you don't have brands on your CV, then it becomes a slight challenge, right? It's like that, you know, you create a great video on YouTube, but if people are not watching it, unless they click on it, and if you don't have a good thumbnail, it becomes an issue from that perspective. Similarly, you might have great skill sets, but if your CV is not attractive enough for the recruiters, then you might not get that round 1 interview invite itself. So let me explain that in context of management consulting jobs. So essentially there are two ways in which you get recruited to a management consulting firm like McKinsey or BCG. One is called as traditional channel or traditional recruitment. Here what happens is that let's say that if you're a student at IIM Ahmedabad or ISB, then you will apply through the central job portal to McKinsey, send your resume and cover letter, and then McKinsey or BCG will call you for an interview, right? So that's very direct because ISB shares excellent relationships with BCG, McKinsey. These firms keep recruiting from these type of schools. So now what happens is that this is a traditional way of getting recruited. And if you are going to a feeder program, right, then it's very easy, right, for you to get access to these companies, send your resume, and then you might or might not be shortlisted for round 1 interview, but at least there is a channel through which you are applying. So these are called as feeder programs, right? So in India, we have a bunch of feeder programs at master's level. So I'll talk about master's level here. So for example, IIM ABC, Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Calcutta usually have a 33% placement in consulting, and they place a lot of students in consulting. Similarly, from ISB, 3 to 5% of the class ends up going to BCG, Bain, McKinsey, again a target program. I was taking a look at this particular new university, a new program, it's called as Masters Union. The format really appealed to me in the sense that, so there are professors who are leading industry practitioners who have worked with management consulting firms and are now teaching at Masters Union. And again, their internship data indicates that they are on the right track, right? So definitely do check this out. I brought this up because this has a very different model compared to IIMs and ISB. If for example, if you're a fresher, right, then you probably know about IIM ABC, right? So this is a target program. Similarly, ISB, right? If you're a super experienced person, then going to ISB makes a lot of sense. So similarly, the USP of Masters Union, in my opinion, is the strong industry connect it has with BCG, Bain, McKinsey, right? So do check it out. I'll put the data for all these 3 schools in the description box. That might be an interesting find. So do read it. It might give you more insights on what target programs are and how they help you get placed at BCG, Bain, McKinsey. Now moving on to the next point, which is non-target program. So let's assume that you're not from schools like these, okay? And now you have to go and get a job at BCG, Bain, McKinsey. What is it that you can do? So first and foremost, your job should not be to apply via traditional recruitment channels. This will not work out. If you are from a 50th ranked business school in India, if you apply via traditional recruitment channels that, hey, I will just send my CV and cover letter to McKinsey and it will work out, no, it will not. Very, very low probability. So you need to apply via references or referrals. So associates, partners, project managers, they refer people internally to the firm, right? So you need to cultivate a relationship with them, and it all boils down to your ability to network. Okay. Now, how to network? What is it that you do? How do you add value to others, etc. I have done a separate course on this channel itself on networking. Please watch it. It's a very fascinating course. I've got excellent feedback about it. I'll put the links in the description box. Create a window here on the video itself. So please click on it and do watch this course thoroughly. This is extremely important, not only in consulting, but across all industries. Okay. Now, important point to note is that, it's not as if that you can just go out and start networking blind, right? You need to have certain kind of USP with you, right? USP is essentially, like, to cut the long story short, USP is essentially your unique selling point. So if you're from a non-target program, for example, a 50th ranked business school in India, then you need to cultivate some interesting bit or elements about your profile. For example, it could be that you can speak multiple languages, right? That's a very interesting point about you. It could be that you run your own YouTube channel, which has 500,000 subscribers. Again, very interesting. It could be that you have cultivated an international angle, right? The point is that it needs to be unique, right? Why unique? Because if you try to compete with people head on from here, right, from these programs, it will be difficult for you to compete, right? But if you build your profile from a certain angle, right? For example, you have done a lot of international internships, projects, you have worked with management consultants before. All these elements can add a lot of value to you, right? Just a very quick point on this. So as you might know that I run Cases Over Coffee, which is a management consulting prep platform. We run a global fellowship. So do check it out. It might be super useful in terms of helping you develop the USP. I'll again put the links in the description box. Now finally moving on. So let's assume that you have cultivated your USP, you have built all these different skills. Now what next? What is it that you need to keep in mind while applying? So one is that management consulting firms operate on an office model, right? What that means is that, for example, if you're applying for Gurgaon office, or if you're applying for Singapore office of McKinsey, or if you're applying for Indonesia office of McKinsey, the recruitment structure might be slightly different. The type of cases that you get might be slightly different, but you need to send in your cover letter and resume customized to that particular office. Okay, so it is very important to get in touch with people from the office where you wish to work. That's one. Second is that you must have certain rationale. For example, you can't just randomly write that, hey, I have spent my entire life in India, I love India, and I have graduated from this particular Indian school and I want to join McKinsey in London, right? So that might not be very useful an approach, because your cover letter will not get picked. So unless you have some connect with that geography region, connect could be, for example, if you have graduated from, let's say, INSEAD in Singapore. Right? Now you have a connect with INSEAD in Singapore and Singapore. So if you are applying to McKinsey in Singapore, makes sense, right? Similarly, you need to have certain kind of connects. For example, if you grew up in Middle East and if you're applying for Middle East office of McKinsey, BCG, Bain, makes sense, right? So you need to have certain kind of connects. Now you might say that, hey Akshat, I have not graduated from abroad, I have not grown up abroad. So is there anything that I can do if I wish to work with, let's say, Singapore McKinsey? Yes, you can. You can actually end up doing a lot of projects with startups. You can end up doing a lot of fellowships, programs, etc., which give you practical experience and insights about working in the Singapore market. If you do that, then you can accordingly get a lot of fodder material to write your cover letter and CV accordingly. So point I want to make is that the recruitments are office specific. So you need to build your office specific skills. Now comes the point around case solving. Now, in order to get through BCG, Bain, McKinsey, you must learn how to solve cases. This is a core skill that is tested out by all management consulting firms. So point number one here is that you must solve cases that are asked by, or similar cases that are asked by BCG, Bain, McKinsey, A.T. Kearney, so on and so forth. So solve good cases. That is point one. Point two, you must figure out a partner with whom you would solve a case, or a group of people with whom you can solve a case, because like swimming, you can't learn swimming just by reading a manual. Similarly, you can't learn case solving just by reading a book, right? That's two. Three, in order to build the basics of case solving, it's okay to read a certain number of books. It's completely fine. There are a lot of books. I'll not regurgitate that here. But bottom line is that just reading books will not make you efficient. You have to go out and solve cases. It's a practical skill, right? Because you can't become a creative problem solver just by reading a book. You have to actually propose creative solutions by assimilating a lot of business knowledge. So I will continue to make more videos on case solving, management consulting. Do drop in a comment if you want me to cover specific topics around management consulting. I'll be happy to share my insights. But I hope you found this video to be useful. So please give it a thumbs up and drop in a quick comment and say hi. I would be very happy to respond to your comments and any questions that you might have. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed this video.